Hey, what's going on? I had a good buddy of mine from back in the day, 2010, 2011, that I served in the Marines with. He hit me up. He just got a new job as a teacher. He wants me to make him a custom pen and a clipboard. So I'm gonna show you the process today. We're gonna be making a Feel the Click pen from Turner's Warehouse. We're gonna be using Luminite Clear Slow for the resin. And then of course you gotta use eye candy pigments. We're going to be using Okinawa Blue and Tiger. If you want to save 10%, use my code 909WW at the website at checkout. Save 10%. It's awesome pigments. You get a lot for what you pay. So bring you in closer, show you what we're going to do, and go over everything you need. So first of all, you need a mold. I'm using a PTownSubbie block mold. For Luminite Clear Slow, it goes by weight, about 1 to 1. So you need a scale, pretty accurate scale at that. I'm using 2 cups since we're using 2 different color mica powders. Of course, you need your powder and some stir sticks. I got 4, 2 to stir, 2 to add the pigments. If my calculations are correct, this mold takes around 500 grams. So we'll go 250 in each cup, and then we'll mix it up, let it heat up, and then pour them together. So we're going to start off by pouring part A into both of the cups, so that way we're not overheating one faster than the other. Turn on the scale, make sure it's zeroed. We're going to add part A first. Again, 125 in part A. Yeah, 125.1, not too bad. Let's put part A in this one, zero it out again. And that one's at 125. That 0.1 is not going to make much of a difference. So let's add part B to this one. Again, 125 grams of this. $125. Add this and zero it out. Once you put part B into part A, you got to start working a little faster, because they're going to start heating up. I went a little over on that one. I'm a little distracted. Yeah, a little bit of part A. There we go. So I always stir it up first. Make sure you use like a clear cup so you can see if there's any parts that are not fully mixed. And wear gloves, because when you get the stuff on you, it doesn't work well. Scrape the sides. do this one. All right, we're all mixed up. Now it's time to add the pigments or the mica. We're gonna start off with Tiger. I do a generous amount. You don't want to skimp on it, you know. Say about 3 scoops each. And even if you didn't fully mix it in the first part, then when you're mixing in the mica, it'll help mix it more. Then we're gonna add some Okinawa blue. Now these two colors are the closest I have for what his school colors are. So hopefully it comes out nice and it matches. Now mix these in. Scrape the side still, get off that extra mica powder to fully incorporate it. This Okinawa blue is one of my favorites from them. It's just so, it's a beautiful color. Should have got bigger popsicle sticks. I have a whole box of like 1,000 of them, so I gotta go through them before I order more. So another thing to use is a temp gun. Right now that one's at 82, 83. The best part to get it to mix them together without them bleeding over is between 95 and 105 degrees. So we'll get back to it when they reach temperature, and I'll show you the pouring process, and we'll continue from there. Then from here you can just go back, add a little design to it. Everything will be fine. Let's get you over there by the pressure pot. All right, somehow I guess I didn't press record. My fault. Drilling out the blank. I like to do it on the lathe because I feel like I get a straighter hole, and I don't have a jig for my drill press. Plus this little tabletop. Almost all the way through. The way I do it, I bring it in, pull this all the way back as far as it can go, get as close as I can without actually going in, so that way it's going to be locked on. Get it on there, start off slowly. It's a 3/8 inch drill bit. Let's finish it off. Nice little shavings, multicolored. Hole straight through. And then let's see if the brass tube is too big on the other end. There's a little play here. Barely any play here. So that little extra bit that I left on there helped me out. So that way I can just flush it up on this side and then not have to worry about this. It just requires me to go cut this part off and then square it up after that. Now it's time to glue it in. All right, we're back at the bench, getting ready to glue the tube in. Got the blank, got the tube. What we're gonna do first, I don't know if it makes a difference. I've heard people say it doesn't. If it does, it doesn't. I do it either way just because that's what I've done pretty much every time. I grab the tube, using 180 grit. I'm gonna scuff up the tube just to see if the epoxy or the 5-minute epoxy will get into the little grooves, hopefully give it a better bond. Just a little quick. Make sure you have it all scuffed. I like to use the lids for the little containers to mix the 5-minute epoxy on. So we're gonna need a decent amount. You don't want to skimp on this part because it's really what's holding the blank onto the tube. Mix it up real good. All right, so let's find out which side is the loose side. That's the tight side, it's the loose side. So we're gonna feed it from this side. Remember, as you put the tube in, it's gonna squeeze up towards the top, so you can always just scrape it on, give it a little twisting motion. Scrape. Now if you get some epoxy in the tube, it's fine depending on how you're going to do it. I see RJB wood turner, he uses the Play-Doh to plug the ends, which is good, but I don't have any Play-Doh. I'm just going to use the, I forgot what it's called, but you'll see when it's time to square this up, and we'll come back to that. All right, we got the pen blank all trued up. To flush up the sides, I used a barrel trimmer. I forgot what it was called the last time I started recording. I've also seen a lot of videos or questions in other groups of how people keep track of their bushings. I keep mine in a little storage container with the name written on it. Now let's get into turning it down. So now we're on to sanding. You can see a lot of tool marks right here. We'll get it off with the sanding phase though. So I use 120. I use the mesh. I use 120, 180, and then 240 before I go on to the wet sanding. One thing I've seen from RJB wood turner a lot is using a block, just any kind of block that's flat, to get it nice and even all the way across. Just wrap it around. And begin sanding until the whole blank is white. You see, there's a little spot here that doesn't have a scratch mark, so we need to keep going. All right, there we go. We got it all. Now we gotta do long ways. Try and get rid of these deep scratch patterns. I'm not going to bore you with this whole sanding process. No one likes to watch sanding. No one likes to do sanding. So we'll come back when it's time to micro mesh and then finish up this blank. All right, we're sanded all the way up to 240. It's time to do some micro mesh. I'll show you the first one and then we'll come back to actually finishing the full pen. So I got all pads, a cup of water, and then I'll lay this down so water doesn't get onto the bed of the lathe. Try to keep it nice as long as possible. It's already got some rust on it. Let's begin. It took me forever to get micro mesh pads when I first started turning pens, and I didn't realize the difference they actually make. It's like night and day. So first you want to go with the first pad, the longest, to get out all the marks. And with these as well, you want to keep continuing the same sanding pattern where it's spinning, and then you go side to side, and then you stop it, and then you go the length of the blank as well. You get a little preview of what it's going to look like when it's finished. I think it looks pretty good. All right, that's the first one. Let's come back when it's time to finish it off. All right, just finished micro meshing. Looks nice. That little gleam from the blue. I like that. Don't see any tool marks. It feels smooth, nice. but we don't have that nice sheen that we want. So the way I do that is I get Hut's Ultra Gloss Plastic Polish. And then I bought a pack of microfiber towels to apply it. You gotta shake up the bottle. I put about this much, a little bit, about a dime. Start off slow. And as you work it in, you can speed it up. Because it is a friction polish, it needs the speed and the heat to set it. You want to keep it moving as well. It doesn't take long. It says once you start feeling the heat on your finger, it's pretty much done. And I'm starting to feel that. So let's take a look at it. At least from my point of view, it has a nice sheen to it, shiny. Next step is assembly. All right, we're at the bench ready to assemble the pen. I have all the components laid out. I took off the clicker for the clicking part. That way we don't damage it while assembling it. You got the top piece, I don't know what you call it, bushing, I guess. That has the end screw onto it. So I'm gonna screw these together. That way we don't damage those fine threads. Then we gotta determine which side we want to be the top. If you got anything any defects you see that you want to hide them with the clip for the pen. I don't see anything major, but let's put the top over here. Oh, over here, because there's more shine to it. Grab one of the bushings, put it in this piece and the end to keep it from damaging it. He went with the gunmetal pen kit. I like the gleam from this. Let's put it over here in this dark area. Now unscrew the cap. Put the cartridge ink in. Use that to hold this out so you can screw the clicker portion back on. Nice transitions from both ends into the blank. I think it came out pretty nice. Okay, so we got both pieces done. We got this pen, this nice little case. I don't remember where we got them from. I ordered like 50 of them like a year or two ago. Any pen that gets ordered from me, I ship out in one of these little containers, these little cases. And then we got this clipboard. That curl is just amazing. Now with the engraving on the back. Now we just gotta ship them out. It's going all the way to Arkansas. So I hope he really enjoys it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for joining me. If you like, please give it a like. I would say subscribe, but I don't make much content. I'm trying to get more into it. but we'll see how I do with that, as I'm currently still waiting to start working. Again, thank you for joining me.